All right, let's show you how to make a fuel line. So right here, you can see I have the tape still on here. What I did is I marked it out, put some painter's tape, and cut it with the sharpest device you have. For me, it was a pair of, I have a 0-gauge wire cutter, and I used it on here. Not technically used for this. That's why I didn't show you me using it. Either way, next thing is after you do that, we want to make sure that hole's completely round. So go ahead. If you buy the some of the kits, they come with this tool, and we just want to inspect, make sure that that's okay. Now that we do, or have as I should, you're going to take this and work it over. Now, it can be fun, but work it over the tape. I'll show you why after, but we've got to get this over here. Once you get it lined up, and sort of turn it and just get it worked out past the tape if you can. Once you've peeled it past the tape, go ahead and take it off. I'll show you why here in a sec. But see how it kind of unravels a little bit? You don't want that to happen when you have the when you're trying to put the fitting over. Next, you'll see that flare. We want to make sure it's pushing into the jacket. So go ahead and seal this up so it's nice and flush. Now what some people will do, just even against the concrete, that. And again, you want to make sure it's coming up flush, or as flush as it can be, to that silver piece in here. The closer it is, the better seal you're going to get. All right, let's take a look. You know what? That's looking pretty darn good to me. Okay, from there, use this once again. It's always good to do that, because then you can make sure that it's not going to try and crease and bend over. It kind of just gets it ready. All right. Next thing, we've got our olive on here. We have to slide this piece in here and make it flush. So work it in here, just like that. It's going to be a nice tight fit. And then, next thing, a little bit of silicone lubricant. Just like that. Let's move this back up and start threading it on. After you started threading it, put your fitting inside the vise. I always tape the jaws for this. If you're doing more fittings, you'll probably have a special piece that goes on your vise, which has a metal alligator style piece on it. I've only taped up my vise jaws. This doesn't work the best. It's just the way I'm doing it today. In a perfect man's world, I'd have the other piece. Now, the reason why I start like this, see how I grab the end of this fitting? Now I can keep a proper hold for when I start turning this. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to make sure I have this started first. Try and make sure we're not cockeyed. And as I'm applying a bit of pressure, okay, perfect, we're started. Now I hold my line in and start turning. And what's going to happen is this is going to start to close and pinch that barb on the inside. Now at some point, see, now the line's trying to turn. What I'll end up doing is I'll actually end up switching my position with this. But let's do this a little bit more. And then Oh, actually, I'm almost there. Might as well just continue going. Sometimes it'll stop and it'll try to roll the hose. Drives me nuts, but how I get around that is I actually pop this fitting over to this side and then I tighten the tip. There we go. Button it up right against here. After that, we've got a nice solid fitting. If you want to, you can try and do a blow pass test, but even if it passes that, doesn't really mean a lot. You can also do the yank test. If you're yanking on it and she's not coming out, that's another good sign. So that's how I made the fuel line. Don't forget, when you're putting your quick lock fitting on and you go to put it on here, make sure you soak this with silicone as well, so that way it screws on nice and tight and you don't strip the threads. Keeps it nice and lubricated.